Yeah, so sorry about that. Let's go ahead and go back to the more.
On a primary, they're Democrats and Republicans, and I would assign them to work for candidates, even if they didn't, if they're not from that party. And they threw themselves into it. So I had, Republicans working for Bernie and, Democrats working for Rubio, and they were very much into it, but they are struggling with it, and we don't have good language for talking to each other across difference.
These videos actually from May of 2016, May 27th,
good tools for having conversations across difference. But I think that's our fault, not theirs.
As always, nothing's their fault. For Scott, how does ISIS employ tactics of persuasion?
Well, the whole thing is persuasion, right? Because they're trying to convince people to literally kill themselves for something in the future. But what's interesting is that I'm not sure we're using the same kind of persuasion against them, because bombing them isn't, changing their minds. If anything, it's probably hardening their resolve. But if you look at Trump's approach, for example, the same tools he uses, I'm not saying that Trump needs to do it, but those tools would work with ISIS, if you adjusted them for the cultural difference. I mean, basically, here's what I would do. I would take an ISIS person or somebody you thought might become one, somebody who's kind of got the mindset.
See if I can have this.
I would hook them up to whatever kind of brain, scanners we have, so we can see what their mental activity is and which part of the brain is lighting up. And then I would A/B test. I'd say, how about this idea? What happens when you think this? And I would just find out what lit up. Because you could literally persuade them out of it. And by the way, you don't have to persuade all.
It has something to do with the Quran, don't you think?
But people have to believe it.
Oh,
right?
Mar.
Right. So if you...
But if you've been reading that book, and sometimes only that book, since you could read,
20% of the world
have something to do with it.
20% of the people can be talked out of anything with persuasion.
Sure.
And if you flipped 20% of ISIS, they'd start having a problem. All right. So you don't have to get them all. You just have to give them.
But not everyone can be hypnotized, right? Because someone once tried to hypnotize me, and it was not happening. And I wanted to be.
Well, maybe you think you weren't, but
no, I wasn't.
How do you think you ended up in that outfit?
So about 20% of people can have a deep hypnosis where they see things that aren't there, hear things. The rest of us can be influenced. So if they were trying to influence you, it probably would have worked if you stuck with it, whatever you were trying to accomplish. But no, not everybody goes into a deep trance.
Okay. Michael, what do you make of Germany's decision to allow Turkish President Erdogan to prosecute a comedian who wrote a controversial poem? Yeah.
It's a travesty that didn't get nearly as much coverage because Western Europe, resident of Arab culture, is
pretty sure this is the video.
When there is, when there are people in Congress about that one than I am. It's
Brazilian pop star.
Right, yeah, Zika. Zika.
The weird thing about persuasion is people can tell you what they're doing. Still,
come on, this is the video. He freaks out.
And have said that.
I was the first guy in the country who predicted Trump would win. You attribute angry and upset.
Here's the way to frame it.
Yes, and that was so the fault of Obama, who took over when we were losing 800,000.
Back to the country. Debt is poison. Debt will destroy Obama.
Too much debt, but no economist. The environment. It is. I just said that.
You did.
Debt to with the rep a lot of the people.
You have to have a passport. You just go really quick. This item. So.
Yeah, interest.
All right, this might not be the one where Scott Adams freaks out and goes full on total.
This is like the battle.
Fall on their.
Right.
All right, we're going to watch the video that Art was going to critique. It's a blind video. I have not watched this video yet, so let's watch it together.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Sure, I'm a little bit late this morning, but I think that just built the anticipation. How many of you were looking at the clock? It was 7 a.m. or 10 a.m. on your coast, and you said, he's usually right on time. Well, I was here and ready, but I got caught up in something. Hold on, stay there. Don't go anywhere. Coming right back.
How's the sound of the YouTube video, guys? Can you guys hear it?
With notes, yes. And, well, I didn't mean to panic you. So, we have much fun to talk about. Today's going to be a good one. I guarantee it. But to enjoy it fully, you must be prepared. And to be prepared, you don't need much. All you need is a cup or a mug or a glass, a tankard, chalice or stein, a canteen, jug or flask, a vessel of any, the coffee of major stories. It's an interesting file, and I look at them once in a while.
This is an hour long. Is this the video Art was talking about? Hold up. Let me switch accounts. I'm pretty sure I was watching it all. Yes, I was going to go buy the Werewolf Wonk at one point. Shoot me. Oh, you know what? It'll just be easier instead. Oh, look, it's down. That's the pandemic. That's not the right one. Here we go. 9:55. Watching? That was. All right,
a little
cool.
bright in here.
Nope, 62.
Hold on a second. I can turn down the light.
This is the art. This is the video Art was talking about, everybody. This was it.
No, that didn't work.
Oh, I'm wearing my Vote for Elizabeth Warren shirt, even though she
There we go.
she got her
Just
ass
the
handed
right
to her.
amount of darkness. Add makeup to my face without putting any on. Can you tell me why Periscope and Zoom and Skype don't have Snapchat filters so that I could look like I have TV makeup on all the time? Cussing lies. And the answer is nope. Nope. Wouldn't you like to know, of all the many medical professionals who are around the coronavirus all the time, have any of them been hospitalized if they were also taking hydroxychloroquine?
Oh, hydroxychloroquine.
Don't you think that's pretty important? We don't know. I did talk to a doctor just moments ago on Twitter.
You talked to a doctor on Twitter, everybody.
That,
oh my God. Because everybody knows that Twitter has got the answers.
Who said that he has heard of people who were on hydroxychloroquine and did contract the virus. So anecdotally, it looks like you can get the virus, so it's not a preventive. I don't think we necessarily thought it was likely to prevent it. Some people were hopeful, but that didn't seem likely to me. The more likely is that it would help you deal with it once you got it, and that we don't know, amazingly. However,
amazing.
I was conversing with Dr. Jeremy Samuel Faust, and he was filling me in on some stuff, and after listening to his description, because he's following things pretty closely,
Man, I need another drink.
he does not have much
right
confidence that hydroxychloroquine.
All right, so tonight's personality is going to be brought to you by Mountain Dew and Austin East Cider Watermelon Cider. Shit is delicious. It only exists during the summer months, and it's very... So, I am hyper, and now I'm about to drink hard cider. I'm about to find out what this is going to be like. Go ahead and watch the video again.
Because I said, are you saying it won't be a game changer? So he said, well, define game changer. And I said, well, something that would allow us to go fully back to work and still not have our hospitals crashed. So I said, let's just make it that. The hospitals stay intact and we still go back to work. That would be a game changer if the meds allowed us to do that. And his opinion, we're not anywhere near that. In fact, if hydroxychloroquine works at all, it's sort of going to be in the statistics. And he made a good point, which I will make to you.
Oh, you guys can't see it because it's...
If the people, because you know there are lots of hydroxychloroquine tests going on, right? So there are all kinds of tests all over the place. And as the doctor pointed out to me, if any of those tests had shown it obviously works, meaning that you don't need to do the statistics, it's just obvious. Everybody who takes it gets better, or something like that, we would already know. Now, that's why I had lowered my my estimate of the likelihood that hydroxychloroquine is going to be a big deal. I lowered it to 40%.
Hey, if you guys want to hang out while we watch some videos and just fuck around, go ahead and drop in on our Discord. Discord is awesome. It lets you talk to people in real time, and you can also get on video or, more importantly, voice. So I'll go ahead and drop the link in the chat right. Say it's good for an hour. There we go. Go ahead and pop in if you guys want. I'm just gonna be sitting here. Oh, that's the wrong. OBS needs to get Facebook chat integration. If it had that, it wouldn't have damn window. %
chance. That's my current estimate. 40% chance it makes a significant difference. And the doctor was saying, you know, if you could notice the difference, like the doctors could just tell without any statistics, we would already know. Because first of all, they tell us, and secondly, for humanitarian, humane reasons, they would have stopped the test. Because if you get such good results with a drug that has been used for so long, you have a pretty good idea what the safety profile is. If it worked that well, they would have stopped the trials already. And they would have said, oh, it's just obvious. We're not going to finish this. We better just start giving it to everybody. That's not happening. So I'll stick with my 40% chance that hydroxychloroquine is a big deal.
40% chance that he pulled out of his ass completely based on no scientific study or anything like that. This is the kind of shit that you get when you're very hopeful that something will pan out to work in the way that you want it to. And Scott Adams, being a quote-unquote persuasion expert, should know this, that he's trying to persuade himself that there is more hope than there actually is. It's kind of sad. Kind of sad.
So the New York Times 1619 project got a Pulitzer Prize. So the 1619 project was basically
they're
rewriting
really
the history
going
of the United States.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's really going to bitch about this.
Like
See, I'm telling you,
slavers, I guess,
was
the main thing.
Went completely anti-liberal.
I guess historians ripped them apart for having.
Now, I know I couldn't find the video of him going completely anti-liberal, but in the video that I was trying to find, where he was on Bill Maher, and I watched this live, he basically took the whole white man is being kept down by everybody else right now, because clearly there's a white male. There's the truly impressed ones in our society today. And he was just livid. It was funny. It's sad. Always sad.
Having bad history in there. So they weren't very accurate about history, and it was a total political nonsense, and they got a Pulitzer Prize. They got a Pulitzer Prize.
Real history's nonsense.
Because they got a Pulitzer Prize. Let me tell you what the Pulitzer Prize is. Do you want to get red pilled on the Pulitzer Prize?
Oh snap, dropping those boomer terms, red pill. No one talks about red pilling anymore.
In approximately 3 minutes, you're going to think the Pulitzer Prize is so stupid, you wouldn't even want to win one.
I just want to point out that you'd think a person that has as much money as Scott Adams does, that actually has been, video blogging for quite a while now, would have a better camera than I do. I'm just using my damn cell phone. He's probably using something from like 2003.
Even if you didn't have to do anything to get it. The Pulitzer Prize is a little group of people who volunteered and had to be selected, of course.
Oh, Tarbox, that's just the persuasion working on you. He's lulling you to sleep so that your cognitive ability depresses down and he can fill you with nonsense or something. I don't know. It's all bullshit.
Volunteered, but were also selected to be on a little committee where they would read 0.00001% of the work that was created that year, just the stuff that was submitted. Most people don't even submit. So they'd see this tiny, tiny little sliver of work that was produced. And then the, 6 or 8 of them, it's a small group. They would vote and they'd say, we like this one best. And then they talk about it and they decide that that one gets the Pulitzer Prize. Now there are different little groups for each flavor of Pulitzer Prize, for each category. So each category has little judges. How prestigious is it to win an award that's 6 to 8 people sitting around in a living room saying, I like this one the best of these few choices? It's meaningless. It is absolutely, completely without value. It's just some people sitting in the living room saying, well, there were 1 million things created. I read 7 of them. Of the 7 things I read, of the 1 million things that were created, I like this one best of the 7. 4 out of 7 of us agree. Pulitzer Prize is the most ridiculous prize. So he says is a Pulitzer for cartooning. There have been Pulitzers awarded to cartoonists.
Oh snap, Art just messaged me on Facebook. He might be joining us.
I think Berkeley.
Am I going to have to break out my different webcam settings? I got to get stretched out. I want to ask Art to hand me my ass. Got to be limber. Or something. I don't fucking know. Just saying shit now. Oh, no. Clearly he's never won a Pulitzer. You gotta rational. Everybody likes rationalizing their own ineptness or what is it? Mediocrity. Yeah, I do it. Do it all the time. I'm on plan. Hey, fuck! I'm on plan D for my life. You know how depressing that kind of is. Not on plan B, but D. Jesus Christ! But it's great. It's great. It all worked out. I have my lovely fiance sitting here with me in the office. She's not paying attention. She looks mad. I'm sorry. Big deal. Yeah. Anyways, Art. All right, back to the video. Oops, excuse me.
Breathitt got 1. I think Gary Trudeau got 1, if I'm not mistaken. So at least 2 strip cartoonists, and of course there have been other cartoonists who do political cartoons who have gotten them. So there are Pulitzers for cartoonists, and for a long time I wanted one. I stopped wanting one when I met the husband of one of the judges. So the husband of one of the judges was in my living room one day. He was also a reporter. And he was writing a story about me.
Ellen, go message him. He'll join.
And he talked about his wife, who was on the Pulitzer committee. And he just described it like I described it to you. And that was the last time I cared about winning a Pulitzer Prize. Because I said, seriously? It's just 6 people sitting around who haven't seen even 1% of the stuff that's been produced that year? and they
Not
decide.
even 1%.
That's it. Useless. All right. Speaking of Dr. Jeremy Samuel Faust, he suggests, along with his co-writer in the Washington Post, they wrote a piece with Carlos Del Rio in which they say that maybe the best metric to track
I fixed the screen size. Sweet.
Is net deaths. So instead of looking at just coronavirus deaths, just look at the net compared to the historical baseline and say, are you keeping it, close to the historical number? Because there are lots of variables in net deaths. To which I thought to myself, that's not bad. That is not bad. I don't see anything wrong with that approach, do you? I would have said hospitalizations, but you could have tracked deaths, but then you have a trouble of knowing if you're counting them right. So counting the total net deaths and comparing it to
Art in the house.
prior year baselines.
There we go. What up, what up?
Not too bad.
Hey, so
you
want to
get on video?
I thought I saw you, doing something live on that video, and then I clicked off and clicked back on. It's gone.
It's coming.
Oh.
It's coming.
But obviously you're not still doing it.
And here it comes.
Oh.
So
where
here's
is
a
it?
new thing
We're
I
on
learned
Facebook.
From a doctor.
Okay.
We're in the group.
So,
started a watch party and
a doctor
everything.
who worked in an emergency room for 7 years.
Yeah,
This is a different doctor,
literally,
so not
literally
talking.
cannot find it.
Let me see if I can tag you again. Let's see, Art Black.
Yeah,
Tag!
it said that.
What?
It said couldn't load post.
Weird.
This post may have expired.
It's weird. There's people in here. Let me invite you. Let me see if I can invite you. Let's see here. How do I invite? Oh, there's the
Hold
invite
on.
button.
I'm getting off my iPad. Let me go back to my computer. Just a sec.
All right. Well, I invited you again. And if you want to get on video, let me know. All right, back to the video, guys.
Dr. Faust. Different article in, I guess it was in Scientific American. And this doctor had been an emergency room doctor for 4 years and attending physician for 3. So he had 7 years of doctoring.
7 years of doctoring.
And he treated coronavirus patients. And he
coronavirus.
And he asked this question: why have I been a doctor for 7 years, especially in an emergency room, and I've never seen anybody die of the regular flu? Have you ever heard anybody say that before? Have you ever heard anybody say,
well, they typically don't go to the emergency room if they go
why
to...
don't I know anybody who's ever died of the regular flu?
But obviously you're not still doing flu.
There were 80,000 of them last year. Have you ever heard anybody say that before?
Oh, Art, I need you...
Well, typically
I need to mute you. Mute Art. Need to mute Art. Sorry. You're muted on my end. You're causing instant feedback loop. Please let me know when you get a headset in. Via chat.
Year? There's something wrong, right?
Oh, technology.
Doesn't quite make sense. Now, when I said it, I said, well, the obvious reason is because I'm not a doctor, right? Probably doctors see it all the time. Didn't you assume? So the doctor says he'd never seen one, not one. So he called around to his other doctor friends, and he said, have you ever seen anybody die from the regular flu? What do you think they said?
All right, welcome back, Art. Welcome back.
Well, there was this one
Am I back?
case
Yes. You're very loud, too.
of a pediatric
I was
situation
speaking
that we
loudly,
heard
yes.
about. And then a few
Okay, I
of them
wasn't
had
planning for
seen
this at all,
one or
so
two over
I
their
have Scott Adams
lifetime.
muted. Let me try something real quick.
Over their entire career, anyway. They'd seen one or two. But the other doctors had never seen one. Not one. And then now, how could it be
Nope.
that they're about the same number, let's say, in
Sorry.
very
Okay.
rough terms,
That can work.
overdoses every year?
I'm just going to.
But we all know
try
people
something
who
else.
died from overdoses. How many of you know somebody who died from an overdose? Doesn't have to
you
be
do you.
last
I'll be right
year,
back.
just in general.
All right.
All of you? Every one of you, right? You all know somebody who
I gotta say, this is really, really bad take. Like, I've listened to some of his stuff before where he's like focused in on like, I don't know, persuasion or whatever. And I'm like, okay, this can make sense. But this video is really bad. Like, real bad. Yeah, the celebrity internet pandemicist. Yeah, they don't really know shit. And clearly I cannot pronounce anything because I was not hooked on phonics and phonics was not hooked on me. Remember everybody, if you have kids or are planning to have kids, do not use the whole word method to try to teach them to learn. It doesn't work for everybody. Living proof.
Who died of an overdose, and that's about the same number as die of the flu, allegedly. But why do we all hear about ODs? We all know people who died in drunk driving accidents. Most of us know people who have been shot. Do you know anybody who has been shot, in some kind of a crime or murder or anything? I do. I've had guns pointed at me several times myself.
I bet you have.
So there's something that's not.
That's what happens when you move
up,
in on Bubba's
right?
wife.
So you may have heard President Trump asked exactly the same question at his town hall.
I don't even know what that was in reference to, but I love it.
Why is it that I know 3 people who got coronavirus and his friend died? And he said, I've lived my entire life and I've never heard of one person who died of the regular flu. But this coronavirus hits and all of a sudden my friend dies and 2 other people I know have it. I don't know if the others died. I think they maybe just had it.
All right, Anthony, how about now?
So he noticed it too.
Sounds good, man.
So this
Are you wanting to get on
doctor
video?
noticed it, who is finally somebody who knows what they're talking about as opposed to, us.
You don't have to.
He just
Oh, no. See, this is why we don't do comms checks live.
Clearly, Natasha, since you don't know anybody that has been shot, no one in the whole history of the planet has ever been shot. It's all a grand conspiracy in order to keep the gun lobby selling guns in order for people that need protection or something. I don't know. It's the same logic.
decides to look into
Ellen's
how do
telling
they
you to calm
calculate
down.
that number for the regular flu. Do they count it? Do they look at the records and see what the death certificate says? And if it says died of the flu, chick, that's 1. And then they add them up. Do you think that's what they do? Fuck no.
Stop.
Fuck no, they don't do that. It turns out that they use a fucking algorithm. They do an estimate. They don't count them, and their estimate could be wildly off, which they acknowledge.
Okay, so apparently I have absolutely no technical way to listen to Scott, Adams, and you at the same time. Apparently it's not in the cards, so.
That sucks. Wait, don't you have a headset?
Oh, wait. Yeah.
I thought you bought a whole headset. Like, that would work. You just have to tell, because you use a Mac, like a plebe, you have to tell your Mac to use your headset in a wonky manner going deep into the system settings. Can't just plug it in, because Macs. Maths. Nerds and their fucking maths, yeah. If y'all are wondering why we don't do more streaming to Facebook, yeah, this is kind of why. Can't get random internet peeps to watch on Facebook. Just doesn't work.
How many you would get if you counted them?
Oh, and
the way they count coronavirus, where you actually get it.
if anybody here is interested, I was actually on a random panel the other day on Twitch with some of Twitch's medium-sized streamers. Randomly got invited because I happened to be at the right place at the right time. So if anybody's interested in that, I'll drop a link in the comments, or just hit me up later, and I'll give you the link directly.
A name and a medical record, and it's this guy. Do you know how many you'd get? Maybe 4,000. High end 15,000. But even at 15,000 a year, I feel like I would have heard of one.
Hey, Art, you there?
Yes.
At what time frame does Scott Adams stop talking about useless flu deaths?
What time? Did you jump to the 11-minute mark?
I'm past the 11-minute mark. I am at 15 minutes and 29 seconds where he's rambling on about how he doesn't know anybody that died from the flu, so therefore no one dies from the flu.
Oh, I mean, this is the good stuff here where he really loses it. I mean, around like the 22-minute or so, I think it changes, but man, this is gold right here. He gets crazier and crazier.
All right, we'll keep listening.
So now I can successfully listen to you, but I can't hear Scott, much in the same way that I couldn't before. But now I'm wearing a headset. So
okay.
When I play
are you listening to the video through Facebook?
Yes.
And when you try to do that, it plays your sound. It still picks up your sound?
No, it plays your sound as well as your sound. So I hear you say something, and then you say it again.
Oh, yeah. Don't watch it through Facebook. We can remedy this. So, you will have to watch it this way. Hold on. Screen. So go ahead and get into the video onto Discord. There you go. I don't know if it's going to play the sound. You went to the channel, didn't you? No. Click on the CSP podcast. The channel with the mic in front of it, and it'll pull up the video from this channel. Assuming you're on your Mac and not your tablet.
No, I got off my tablet.
Oh, look, it's Shawn Dolo.
Okay, so I see Scott not moving, and I don't hear anything.
Right, I have it paused.
Oh, okay. Let's unpause and see what we got.
Yeah, let's see if you can hear it. Wait, where's my mouse? Can't find my mouse.
Somebody I know. I mean, 15,000 is still a lot.
There we go.
That is closer
you can hear it now?
4.
I can hear it now.
So do you
there
know?
We go. Problem fixed.
That the entire premise of this whole
now I can't find my mouse.
fucking shutdown
It's right there.
is that we didn't want to have a situation that was much worse than the regular flu, which we believe to be in their neighborhood of, I don't know, 50 to 80,000 a year or something.
The fuck?
Turns out that's
You've minimized your window. I'm sitting tight.
I know.
The most basic thing our
my mouse
experts
disappeared completely, like the cursor.
Was a lie. It was as much of a lie as
it was a lie. It was a dirty lie.
Don't work. It was as much of a lie as this does not pass from human to human. Thank you. Fuck you, China. Fucking fuckers.
Okay.
Almost everything that we've been.
I just need to say something about this because there's been arguments back and forth on Facebook in our own group. So China did initially say that the virus would not spread from person to person back in like the second week or so of December. But by January 7th or so, they started being like, no, we think it spreads person to person. And the reason being is twofold. One, they were trying to stop panic from happening in China. And, if anybody panics in China, the government loses clout, yada, yada, yada. But two, science didn't really know that it could at the time yet. They didn't know it was airborne. So by the time they were welding doors shut in Wuhan province and making sure that nobody could leave the entire freaking, a 50-mile radius they were blocking roads with semi trucks and causing fake mudslides and all sorts of other stuff to keep people from leaving the city, the province rather. They had known by that and stopped lying to people because they're like, oh fuck, people are dying. So we should give China shit because China was being pretty shit. But it wasn't this whole thing where they just lied the entire time. So yeah.
Been told about this thing has been wrong.
Ooh,
all of the important shit has been wrong. And let me tell you as confidently as I can, don't wait for testing. Don't wait for testing to save you. There's not going to be any fucking testing, not sufficient, because we know what the number is that would be sufficient. We're nowhere
Art,
fucking
if you want to
close.
get on video, just let me know.
We don't have a plan to get there. There's no plan. There's not even a path. There's no fucking way testing is going to save us.
Hold on, guys. I'll get into our little video thing here shortly. I don't know what the hell happened to my mouse cursor. Like, it's disappeared.
I can see it. It's spinning around.
Yeah, but
it's by
I can't.
Its neck right now.
I can't see it on my screen. Let me unplug my mouse real quick and plug it back in. Maybe that'll work.
Have you tried turning your computer off and then back on again?
We ain't doing all that. Ain't no one got time for that.
All right.
There's the mouse.
But anyway, I think that this is what's so funny is that you've got Trump back in February was like, it's going to disappear. It's going to be miraculous. We have 15 cases. It's going to go to 0 cases. It's going to disappear. This was always the fucking plan. Like, they were never going to deal with this. They were just going to wait for it to go away.
Yep.
So, like, you've got these guys like Scott, like the pseudo-intellectual types like us, who, I'm kidding. But, for like a Trumpist, like Scott's, hardcore intellectual. And so he has to spin all of the stuff that Trump does, and he's usually pretty good at it. And what I love about this is that he has to come out and admit that Trump never had a plan. There was no plan. There wasn't going to be a plan. He didn't want to deal with this.
Hey.
The shit fell in his lap, and he's incompetent. And this is what incompetent people do when they're used to just being able to like throw funny one-liners and distract the press or create their own drama. Like when you present them with an actual problem that they can't fucking just like bamboozle their way out of, they just power through it. It's not like Trump's got anything else in his toolbox. He can't like change up now that he's in his mid-70s and become like a mature, like adult leader. He ain't that guy. Like he never had that plan.
Nope, he never had that plan at all, for sure. Like it's pretty.
And none of his people did either. Like it was just, this is all just a hustle to kind of keep people up and motivated, which I think is so funny. And it's why a lot of the people in his orbit kind of blame Fauci and they blame Birx. And I think this is all like, the deep state conspiracy to shut down the economy is to the extent that Trump listened to the experts, it kind of did hurt the economy. I mean, not intentionally, but I mean, that's just kind of a side effect of locking down, an entire country to try and stop the spread of a virus. But he didn't have like a plan for it. Like he's just like bouncing between ideas without really any thought to a greater strategy. And now he's just fucked. Like people are on, Ben Shapiro, I was on his Twitter earlier, like arguing with people who are like, well, it's not fair. No matter what Trump does, you're going to blame him. Like, yeah, when you screw something up so badly that there are no good options left, you get to be blamed for whatever bad thing happens, whether crashing the economy or a lot of deaths or both.
For sure. Like it's ridiculous, man. Like, and the fact that people like Ben Shapiro are trying to defend him after spending, I don't know, all of 2016 to just like mock and ridicule. It's like, well, he's the leader now, so we have to respect the leader. No, fuck that. Like, there are people like Vaush on BreadTube, and for people that don't know, BreadTube is basically LeftTube, but kind of like, I don't know, grimier or something. I don't fucking know. But they're like,
dirty communists.
Yeah, a bunch of dirty communists. But they're like, I want to pick my enemy. Give me the opportunity to just go 100% in, like, hard on Biden, and we'll extract concessions from him. But everybody else, like on the Republican side, are like, no, we're not going to hold anybody accountable. He's the leader now. He won, so we have to rally around him. And anything you say that's against that, you obviously hate America. You fucking dirty commie piece of shit.
Good Lord. Sorry.
Yeah, this is weird. So, everybody that's watching on Facebook, the group, thank you so much for joining us today. We're just kind of fucking around, having a good old time on a Friday night, learning our new system of setups for Discord, and everything like that. You'll see a picture within a picture, because in order for Art and the rest of the people on Discord, in order to hear this, and not get double feedback, they have to watch it through our Discord server. So the big image is for y'all. The small images up here with our cameras is going to be for us. So Scott will be talking twice, but you'll only hear one of them. Actually, to make sure that happens, let me go ahead and make sure there's no audio coming through it. Yeah, there's no audio coming through on my end. We're good. Let's go ahead and go. All right, everybody, back to the video.
He has a handle on it. Nobody knows what we're doing. Nobody thinks we're going to have enough. It's not a fucking solution.
Oh, good. It's not playing it in there.
Vaccine?
That's awesome.
Maybe we'll have one by the end of the year. Do you know how many times we've successfully made a vaccine for a coronavirus type of situation?
Yeah, I don't know either.
What would you guess?
Ben Shapiro.
How many times in history have we successfully made a vaccine for something of this type? How about fucking zero? Zero.
Oh, here it
goes.
Here it
In the
goes.
whole fucking universe, the history of mankind, we've never fucking made a vaccine that works on this sort of thing. Do you think we're going to make one now because we're trying harder? Well, maybe. Maybe. But if we do, we're going to accidentally cure the whole common fucking cold, because that's a coronavirus too. Now, I'm not saying we won't do it, because there's a lot of genius and energy being concentrated on it. Maybe we do. But would you count on it? I mean, the fucking liars who are telling us, yeah, the vaccine's coming, be they medical, be they politicians, fuck every one of them. They're not making us a vaccine. It's not even a fucking thing. Stop lying to us. Stop fucking lying to us. You have lost all moral authority.
This is just delightful.
Lost it.
I know.
Moral authority comes not only from, the organization of things where you have a leader, and people say, well, the leader we elected.
Can we just pause and say that if Hillary Clinton was president right now, he would have given this speech in late January.
Oh my God.
The fact that he still can't even call out Trump for this, he's so fucking irate, because he's a smart enough guy. He talks to other people. I mean, even though he's kind of fasci adjacent, he's still an engineer. He knows other people who are relatively educated and all that.
But you must also perform.
Sorry. He knows. He knows. I mean, he knows that this is a scam. And I think that at this point, the fact that it's starting to dawn on him that Trump isn't even in on his own scam. Trump's going back and forth between open the economy but keep everything closed. But Trump doesn't want to take leadership of anything because he doesn't know how it's going to play out, and he doesn't want any bad press. But this is all bad. Even pretending that they're going to have a vaccine, pretending that the hydroxychloroquine was going to work. That's all Trump does. That's all he's got in his toolkit. I mean, he's just fucking fake. He's got his fake university, his fucking bullshit vodka. He's just a faker.
Steaks.
It's just what that's it. He's just a guy who can't even run a casino. He's that deep into the fake. And now Scott is that's all. I mean, and now Scott is realizing that he doesn't have a fucking plan to get out of this situation that he's scammed himself into. This whole idea that there's some light at the end of the tunnel. There's really not. Trump's just hoping this all goes away. That's the whole plan. So I love the fact that that soul crushing reality is starting to bear down on people within the Trump orbit, who are just now having to admit that even the scammer doesn't even have a scam lined up. He's just out there winging it day by day. He's got fucking nothing. I love it.
And can we point out the fact that he's talking about moral authority coming from a leader when his leader is fucking Trump? I mean, I know it doesn't need to be said in this group, but are you kidding me? Serious? Art, I must say to Mateo, we can't hear you. Did I mute you by mistake? No, dude, you're not muted on my end. Push to talk. There you guys, we all get new cameras and shit, and technical difficulties abound. What's going on in the chat, everybody? Thank you for joining us. Andrew Harris, I see you. Old army pal. What's going on?
How's that?
We can hear you now. Good job, Mateo. So
I forget what I was going to say now, too.
It happens.
But I did get rid of that old, like, screen flicker thing.
Yeah, I see that, dude. What it was ended up being?
But I think I'm getting low frames right now. I don't know. I think my computer was limiting power to my USBs, or
Okay.
I don't know. I messed with a ton of settings, like so many that I couldn't tell you what actually fixed it. But I'm just glad it's gone.
For sure. You're coming in a bit loud. I'm gonna go ahead and turn you down on my end so that you don't have to mess with.
Hold on, it might be my gain. Are you getting background noise too?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me try gain.
Appreciate everybody dealing with our technical difficulties while we learn our new setups and everything.
How's this?
Say something again.
Something again.
Yeah, could you turn it down just a little bit more?
Waka waka waka.
You're not getting much feedback, but you're just really loud.
Is it worse or better?
Didn't really change anything. I think you need to turn down your setting on Windows, to be honest.
Okay. Hold on.
How's everybody's night going? Can I get some like ha-has in chat or something? How's everybody doing? Give me a ha-ha if you're doing okay.
Don't encourage him, people.
Hey, we gotta do what works, and calling for emojis in chat to get people engaged seems to work.
Fair enough. Fine. I'll play a silly game.
Art, did you get a new camera? Because your camera looks really good right now.
It's just the lighting. Also, it's me.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, you are a sexy man, so.
That is correct.
I got a little bit of neck beard going on. I need to trim this up again.
My Facebook is not updating. Let me reboot.
Shawn, are you? No, I can't hear you at all now.
You can't hear me at all?
Nah, Mateo. Say something again.
What about now?
Yeah, I can hear you, but it's still really loud. What I would do, I think, instead of turning up the gain, move the mic closer to your face a little bit, and leave the gain where it was basically where it's at. Because I think what it's doing, you're not getting picked up by your noise gate if you have one.
All right. I mean, I had the gain all the way down where it used to be. So, is this anything good? Is this working?
Yeah, it's working. It's just really loud. We'll fix it later. I'll just turn you down on my end. It's all good.
Yeah. Actually, before you turn me down, I want to hear it through the stream. Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Just to get an idea.
Yeah. Because I was having the same problem, and then I had to go through and turn my my audio down on my voice meter. So, thanks, Andrew. Thanks for the haha.
Yeah, you could turn me down and whatever.
All right. Turn Mateo down. We'll go 65.
Nobody turns Mateo down.
All right. All right, we're gonna go back to the video, guys. Thank you for dealing with our bullshit.
You must show that you are capable to maintain your moral authority. Just because you were elected, that doesn't give you moral authority if you can't perform. And they're all fucking lying to us.
Every one of them.
Fucking asshole.
Oh my God, you're
they're an expert, a politician. They're all fucking lying to you about all the important stuff. It's all a fucking lie. Every fucking bit of it.
This warms my heart.
So, do you have a right to defy your government?
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting a little bit of input lag.
When they have lost their moral authority. Yeah, you do. You fucking do. You can do anything you fucking want to do morally. Now, legally, you can't.
What?
There will be consequences, and I'm not going to suggest that you go get yourself in trouble. But
is Scott Adams now encouraging direct action? Is Scott Adams a communist? Welcome aboard, comrade.
Oh, it gets better. So I don't think it was this episode, but there was one afterwards where he was talking about how Hannity had to kind of back off from these guys who were bringing guns to these capitals. And, Hannity's got like advertisers, like, he can't really like push that shit too far, because if one of these guys like, shoots up a state capitol after, Hannity encourages him, that's gonna be bad for business.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that Scott kind of goes the other direction, and he's like, I understand that, Hannity, he's got to go that direction. Some people are for it. He goes, but I'm all for it. He goes, you bring in guns, people take you seriously, and, time for people to push back for their freedoms, And he's basically like the direct action, like, almost veering into like armed intimidation and terrorism. So it's kind of, it's kind of, they're getting kind of frosty. I mean, they're getting ready to party. And this kind of hurts me personally, because I was kind of getting excited that the Hawaiian shirts are coming into style, because like during the summer, I've rocked Hawaiian shirts traditionally, and I see it kind of getting fresh, and I'm like, oh, this is good. This is popping now. And then I realized why. I'm like,
what's the reason why?
Okay, so if you look at a lot of these protests, or if you look at like on the, if you see a lot of these guys who are like in tactical gear but wearing Hawaiian shirts,
I have not seen that.
Okay, well, you probably just aren't looking out for it, because they're all over the place. It just looks like they're just like goofballs, just kind of doing their thing. But the trick with that is that, so you've heard of the Boogaloo, which is the upcoming like epic race war, where true Americans take back their country, all that.
It's a race war? I thought it was just, water the tree of liberty with the blood of tyrants.
Well, depending on, what you're showing up to the Boogaloo for, but the actual Hawaiian shirt is for part of it called the luau. So, you wear Hawaiian shirts to a luau. And what do you do at a luau? You kill pigs. It's specifically for like hunting down like law enforcement or anybody who's, like takes the state side in the Boogaloo. And, they're basically like, we're going to be the armed force that takes out, anybody who doesn't get on the right side of history as far as like, white nationalism, let's say.
See, I've not been exposed to this. I actually, when I say frequent, I mean, keep tabs on, at least on Facebook. I don't really get on Reddit very much, and that's probably where most of this is being done, honestly.
Yeah.
There's only so much time in a day, man, and I spend way too much of it on Facebook already. So, but
being formerly very conservative and kind of knowing a lot of the right circles to frequent, and it's a bit more native to me. Like I kind of understand, the nuances a little bit more natively. Oh. Well, and military, but also, most people in the military are pretty apolitical. Like a lot of people just don't give a shit.
That's not been my experience.
You certainly do find some people that care a lot, but I don't know, like most of what I remember was just people that, largely, either didn't give a shit or kind of had vague feelings, but that weren't really well thought out. Mm-hmm. You certainly did have some people who were like hardcore one way or the other. And, that was interesting, but I don't know.
Gotcha. That all makes sense.
And you're probably...
Go ahead.
Well, and I don't know. I'm going to back off what I was just going to say.
No, go ahead, say it. I can take it.
No, it wasn't about you. Oh, no, okay. I was going to say that, between like, like our particular field was like military intelligence. You get a certain type of person there. Mm-hmm. And, it's usually people who are, adventurous, but also nerdy. And you get kind of a, San Diego Comic-Con with guns.
Yeah,
kind of
it's very much true, especially men linguists at least. But I was with the APG operators, man. It was the drone operators were who I was working with.
Yeah, okay, and and me too. And I, and that's,
some of them went and joined Border Patrol.
Right. Okay, and let's just say, like, of that sphere, like, if you have the leaf eaters and the carnivores, like they're eating more meat than regular. But I've also worked with a lot of like combat arms guys, like special ops, and kind of entirely different like realms of all that. And from them, you get people who are generally either super apolitical or like have weird right-wing views that aren't really well articulated. Like you don't really get the quality of conversation, let's say, even in the special ops community, you don't really get people who are all that deep into their politics. Yeah, occasionally, but the vast majority of them are, you know, they're either super apolitical, they just don't give a shit, or they're like vaguely kind of have that weird cultural programming where, you know, you get a lot of them that are just, you know, it's overwhelmingly white usually in that community.
It usually is. It really is.
And then other parts of the militaries, you know, it could be totally different. So you could have some like, you know, like medical corps, for instance, you're going to have a lot more kind of a, you know, a softer liberal sentiment sort of a thing. So there's just different pockets where you get different experiences. And I have no idea what went down this tangent. Oh, that's right, the Hawaiian shirts and the luau.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I saw that, and I follow some of the old, like, you know, counterintelligence and yeah, you know, different analysts on Twitter and online, and I noticed some of them referencing it, and I just kind of dug into it a bit and realized that this is like a thing. Like when you see those guys that have like the weird you know, Y'all Qaeda, the tactical gear with like the, you know, they look like bad guys and like some you know, Modern Warfare or DLC, then that's kind of what they're coming from, is that, you know, there's that subset of people who, you know, specifically wear the Hawaiian shirt with the tactical gear to show that they're, you know, ready for the luau, you know, and those guys are going to be cop killers like once all the you know, when all the shit goes down.
I think we need to do a thing, or you do a thing on Twitch where we get some people to watch that, because I'm pretty sure none of the leftists on Twitch know about this, because this is the first time I've ever heard of it. And just be honest, I've been spending my Facebook time on Twitch for the last, you know, week and a half, and nobody's mentioned any of this stuff talking about COVID and the protest. So we can fill that niche.
Yeah, somehow I'd not heard that before either.
Yeah,
I mean, to hear.
And honestly, that symbolism, that is subtle as fuck. Like, you gotta give these guys some credit. Like that is smart. Like as soon as you said, "What do you do at a luau? You roast pigs," I'm like, "Oh fuck, that makes perfect sense." Jesus, wow. And of course, there's a bunch of white guys doing it too, right? Like,
yeah. Okay. Actually, wait, where are you at? I'm gonna. Oh wait, no, hold on. I'm gonna drop this in.
Oh, you're gonna drop it in Discord? Oh, no, drop it in the Facebook group.
I just dropped it in Facebook group, but I'll drop it in Discord too, just so I got it around.
Yeah, Andrew Harris actually was in AIT with me, so he knows what's up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's how we know each other.
So, and this is kind of another funny thing. So, I started looking into this like a little while back. I mean, this is actually a fairly recent, like it's kind of a 2020 thing. But what's interesting is that when I first started looking into it, because I'm former military and I still am a bit of a geardo, which is a, you know, kind of our slang term for people that just love new tactical kit and all that. I'm on some like old like mailing lists and all that, and I've noticed that some of the companies that do clothing that kind of caters towards either former or active military or all that, but some Hawaiian shirt stuff has cropped up in their inventory, and you know, stuff that gets marketed. And you know how the Facebook marketing works. They see you're interested in something, you talk about something, they give you ads for it. So I started getting ads.
Carriers.
Right? But I started getting ads for that stuff, and that made me look into it a little bit more and realize, oh, like there's actually quite a bit to that.
That's ridiculous. That's awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and make our video smaller. We're gonna go back to the video soon, so.
But if you want
everybody, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Art.
Oh, nothing. Just dropped that video, or I dropped that picture in there. This guy's got a tri-corner hat with ammo, like taped to the top, which is great.
I also second Natasha's recommendation to watch the ContraPoints video on decrypting the alt-right. ContraPoints is fantastic. One of the first YouTubers I actually started following on a regular basis. She does these honestly immaculate, heavy symbolic videos, production value through the roof. If you haven't watched ContraPoints, you watch ContraPoints. She's good stuff. Yes, Andrew. It was a very long time ago in the before time. All right, we're gonna go back to the video to listen to more of Scott Adams' unhingedness. Let's see what else we can decipher.
But from a moral standpoint, they're lying to us and they're not performing. Did you know that we don't even know why viruses ever peter out? Did you know that? We don't even know why. What about this remdesivir? It's great stuff, right? I just heard a study says remdesivir, that'll
This is
cut
Scott
down on
Adams,
that
the creator
virus,
of
baby.
Dilbert.
You got some virus in you? They've tested it. Remdesivir will reduce that virus in you. And therefore, obviously, it helps you survive, right? No.
Figure?
No. Remdesivir
He is within Trump circles.
does not have any indication that it changes the fucking survival rate.
So, to that, he was considered like a Trump whisperer back in like 2016, early 2016 or so, before Trump won the election, and he went off on a full-on anti-liberal, anti-feminist rant on Bill Maher. I think that was the first time that he ever demasked or dropped his power level. But after creating Dilbert and getting rich off of that and getting his own TV show and everything like that, he went into heavy research and published a couple of books on how to persuade people and do hypnotism and things of like that. He probably in a different time, in a different reality, probably would have been a pickup artist. Kind of floated around in those circles and stuff.
Hypnotism is just taking advantage of people who are like easily, like, you could get them to do things just with suggestion.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is, but
it's really sad to see people actually start doing it.
Yeah, he published some books about it. He very much focused on Trump's salesmanship, how he paces and leads the audience into a conclusion. Trump is constantly A/B testing everything. He'll put something out, see if it sticks, and if not, he'll just never apologize, never admit he's wrong, just go 100% the other way. What we saw with Kemp when it looked clear that telling everybody to open the economy full force right away was a good idea, and people got mad. So that is Scott Adams in a nutshell. Basically created a cartoon. It was pretty good. I liked it. But went from a cartoonist to hypnotist / persuasion expert, and then to full-on blown Trump / anti-liberal pundit. The age of YouTube. So back to the video, everybody.
Forget it. If it doesn't change the survival rate, it's not a fucking drug. It's just some company that's trying to make money. Do you really need to pay $1,000 to get better 3 days earlier when you were going to get better anyway? If it doesn't stop you from fucking dying, it's not a drug. It's not a therapeutic. It's a nothing. It's a scam. It's I don't know, what is it? A vaccine? Some pharmaceutical company has figured out how to gouge the
big brain. Yeah, I got to turn you up a little bit.
They're fucking lying about remdesivir. All right. Probably there's lies all over the place on hydroxychloroquine. Probably in both directions. Totally unreliable bullshit information we have on that. We don't know what causes the virus to stop. We'll never have a fucking
You guys getting
vaccine.
lag on the video
Stop lying
on Facebook?
To us. We don't have any therapeutics that are working. We have one
fine on Discord
option to suck it
No,
up
I said it's a blank screen on Discord.
best we can.
Oh.
And try to save the economy.
Can you guys hear it though?
Yeah,
that's obvious. Okay. Everybody knows that. And I don't know that you necessarily have to push your government to do something quicker. Because we're only talking now...
It's not blank anymore, is it?
3.5 weeks to the end of May for most of the states. By then, we'll have a lot of information about the other states. So we might be able to feel our way through this, with some starts and stops. I'm not sure that you necessarily have to protest your government. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that the government has sacrificed its moral authority. It just doesn't have it. You still might need to...
He's sounding really communist right now. Man, he's
so what's funny
close.
is that he actually, and this is one of the weird puzzling things, like when it gets into politics, like deep politics, he will say that he's to the left of Bernie. He never really explains how. And like he's like pro-abortion, he's pro like climate, or believes in climate change. He's open atheist. He's like, yeah, I don't believe in God. Like, I get that it's good for society and all that. God's fake, but whatever. Like, if you guys believe in it, that's wonderful. Like he's weirdly like, aside from Trump's support, he doesn't have any really like right-wing views, which leads me to believe that either he's just completely crazy, or this is just like crypto white nationalism. Like there's nothing like ideologically that makes sense at all, other than he feels like Trump was doing a good job, the economy was doing well, and it might be nothing more complicated that he's just a rich guy and he just enjoys having somebody in office that takes care of rich guys.
Yeah.
That's also possible. But it's just really interesting because like he's got a lot of people who are, you know, pretty hardcore, either like conservative, evangelical, you know, a fasci, but he doesn't really have any views that kind of sync with that.
I mean, he's pretty anti-feminist.
Well, okay, now that's true. Like he's like, you know, you'd basically consider him anti-trans. No, that's not true. I take that back. He's
not
totally
anti-trans.
for.
Yeah.
He's not. He's actually for like trans, like people in sports and all that. And he's done big segments on people who's just like, yeah, you guys are complaining about trans guys in women's sports or whatever. He goes, you're all stupid. I mean, he's got like some weirdly like hard left views that, you know, I don't know. Like part of it's really mysterious to me, other than he's completely enamored with like Trump's ability to persuade and bamboozle and bullshit. And that has brought him in a big crowd. And he's often right about that. Like when he breaks down like Trump and Trump's like manipulation plays, it's actually really, really good. This particular stuff, though, I just think it's funny because he's really upset with Trump right now, but he can't come out and say it. And that aspect of it, that's like kind of like Trump's corrupting power. Whereas like in 2016, he was open. If Trump did something stupid, he'd be like, yeah, Trump's doing that. That's stupid. Whereas now, like, I think this is true of like Ben Shapiro or all these guys. Like they try to like put a foot in and like keep a foot out, but it never works. Like once you kind of get in bed with Trump, he just sucks you in. Like you get pulled into the system and you realize that your livelihood and your power base is now tied to Trump, and Trump's fans don't tolerate dissent. So he can't go against Trump openly. He has to do it like obliquely like this.
Yeah, I don't know. Andrew Harris asked if it's deliberate refusal to be pegged in a box, and I don't think it's that so much as just I think it is, at least for somebody like Scott Adams, it's definitely just anti-liberalism. Like he's weird socially, like Art was saying. He's not anti-trans, but he's kind of anti-feminism. He's kind of got some traditional views about you know, different purposes for the genders in society and things like that. But I think he's not at all pro-democracy. I don't think he's at all pro just general liberal values. He might be notionally for free speech, but I don't know. Like it's strange in that regard, I would say.
Well, even for like a lot of that stuff, like he tends to be an extremist on like you know, he's like super, and this is just because I watch him a lot. Like he's super for you know, like free speech. He's totally against censorship, really of any kind. And you know, and he'll, you know, be the one to often acknowledge, he goes, censorship usually works against leftists. Like it's rare that it comes against, you know, right wingers in an open sense. In a passive sense, like social kind of pressure or corporate pressure, you will get it a lot against conservative views. But like from the government, you know, especially if you look over the course of history, it's usually cracking down on left wing views. So, you know, his sense is like, you know, government censorship is more dangerous than social censorship because you can always change people's minds socially. When the government's after you, you're kind of fucked. So he's like, again, he's weirdly very against a lot of stuff that Trumpists or conservatives are for, and like has no problem going after his audience and just being like, yeah, I mean, I know you think that, but it's because you're not very bright, and let me explain to you why. And for whatever reason, they sit there and take it because, you know, he's just a hardcore Trump fan. But the reason that he's a hardcore Trump fan is still a mystery to me. And I've literally narrowed it down to just he's either a rich guy who loves that Trump is making him rich, or he's a crypto white nationalist. And I think that that's kind of a hard thing to wrap your head around. But, you know, he plays a lot of footsie with Cernovich. Like, you know, they're buddies on Twitter, and he references him a lot. And I guess he was in one of his videos. And a lot of, you know, those guys on the outside, like the Carpe Donktum, like they're pals. The what's the other guys? Count Donkula.
Count Dankula.
Count Dankula.
Yeah.
You know, all those guys in that orbit. Like he pals around with all those guys, and it's just, I don't know. I just I'm truly puzzled by it, and it's just that he's just a crypto something. It's either a crypto rich guy or a crypto fascist. I can't tell which.
I think it definitely he leans fashy, at least now. Like I said, like it was one of those. I'm gonna have to find the video. I swear it exists out there. But he just went on this long spree about like, oh yeah, you just fucking hate the success of the white man, and you guys are all the fucking same. It was bad, and it was on Mar.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like it was open for the mass media public. It was bad.
I think he's been on Bill Maher twice or so, and he was on Rogan once. But I mean, back then he was a lot more guarded about his pro-Trump kind of side.
Right.
So basically, it got to the point where, and he's talked about this too. And at one point he went to the White House and like met Trump and all that. So like people within the Trump intelligentsia, such as it is, have pulled him in, and he's got pretty good access now. But he said it killed all the speaking engagements. He goes, he'd get booked for some corporation or for some big event, and he goes, somebody would say, hey, that Adams guy is a Trump supporter, right? And then they call him back, like, oh, we lost our budget, we can't hire you anymore. And he goes, and then all my speaking dried up, and I realized that you basically once he went this route, he's like pigeonholed. He goes, I'll never work again. Like I'm just, I'm blacklisted.
He's such a Trump guy now. This is his only avenue.
No, exactly. But that's why he was trying to play it, careful before, is that he was trying to keep his other operations in rolling. But
right.
But now it's too late, and he's open about that now. He goes, yeah, I burned myself because I was too open about it, and so now I can just basically come out of the closet, much like what's his name was saying with his book. Don't burn this book. What's his name? The guy who used to be on Young Turks, and now he's
Dave Rubin.
Rubin, yeah.
Rubin's a character, man. Rubin's the kind of guy that was definitely like a liberal, quote unquote, because the conservatives were fucking him at the time. And now that he's no longer, his number one thing was his ability to marry his now husband. Now that that's no longer an issue, and some conservatives are like, yeah, we can accept that. He's on board. He's on board with the conservative fast train. There's a video.
He's the gay Candace Owens. That's all.
Yeah.
Like she was totally against Trump, like hardcore against, until like suddenly he got elected, and then she's like, oh, I can make a lot of money doing this. Like if you look at her 2015, 2016 stuff, totally different.
Oh yeah. But I wouldn't. The gay Candace Owens is the guy that started the quote unquote walk away campaign. That's the gay Candace Owens.
Oh, he tried Putin?
No. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's been the go-to, like even the left's so crazy, even gay people are out leaving them. He tried to make this one-man act play show thing on YouTube where he was like donning like fascist iconography to make fun of it and all this other stuff, and it was like this huge production that he put together, and it didn't sell at all. And then, like, I don't know, not even a year later, he comes up with this video of him just talking at a screen in the black background. He's like, I left the left because the left's no longer for free speech. And I'm like, okay, buddy. Okay, right here. Like, that's the gay Candace Owens. Because Rubin actually went off the deep end way before Trump. He started going off on it like 2014, 2015. He left the Turks, the Young Turks, over some differences.
Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I thought that was started as a Russian active measure, but it turns out that they're just using their bots to amplify it.
Correct.
There's walk away and there's dem exit. And
both of those dem exit is Candace Owens one. Walk away is the gay guys.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games until someone gets punched in the face.
Yeah, now the only Russian active measure that's out there is Tara Reade.
Yep, and it's an effective one too. Tara Reade thing, man.
Oh man, I was expecting to put some pushback on that. I wasn't expecting you to agree with me so quickly.
Wait, you're expecting me to say that it wasn't effective?
That it was the accused for being a Russian active measure.
Oh, no. Why would I push back against that? The Russians are exploiting everything. That's every division that we have.
Oh, well, shit. All right. Never mind.
They've been doing that for decades. The
carry on. All right.
Yeah. But the whole the United States government made AIDS in order to kill black people thing was a Russian active measure, seeded into a socialist leaning Indian newspaper back in like 1985 or something like that, and then it got picked up by leftist media in the United States. Those zines that were floating around at the time, free those free papers you see like in every city or whatever, that basically made their money off of offering back page services to people. They got picked up by them, and it became a whole thing. And that's why you have a lot of not a lot of, but a decent amount of people that still believe that the United States government created AIDS because of Russia.
And speaking of all that, kind of crazy bullshit, that seems to be, either an active measure or well financed. This Judy Mikovits, who has this pandemic video, have you seen any of this yet? You've heard of it?
I've heard of it. I have not watched it.
Okay, well, let me
probably watch it.
Well, no.
Have you seen it?
What we should do is watch it next, because
might as well put it on here, I guess.
Yeah. Until I'm told, hey, you got to get the fuck off, I'm gonna stay on for a bit.
I won't. You know what? I was gonna ruin some of this fun, but if we're gonna watch it together, then by God, we'll watch it together, because you're in for a real treat on that. This is some fucking high octane crazy.
We need to get more people watching this. Honestly, I actually got into it with some of the blue hairs on Nextdoor,
which is fantastic. And it's so funny because I have to be so like crypto on Nextdoor, because like I'm a legit businessman like in my area. So people will say stuff, and I just want to like, raise the hammer and sickle and just start singing the Soviet anthem and just lay it to people. But I have to play very like down the middle, and I want to be everybody's friend and kind of work that angle. But when you get these people who are like, it's just amazing what government, Governor Gavin Newsom, he's working with the Chinese, and they're closing the beaches to take our rights, and they're gonna take our guns and da-da-da. I'm like, none of you have any guns. Like, literally, none of you have any guns. Like, it's not even a thing. And the Chinese don't care if the beaches are open. I feel stupid just having to say that sentence out loud, that the Chinese would give a shit. They're like, well, they're just trying to condition us so that we accept whatever martial law comes down their pipe. And why? Why would they give a shit about any of that? Like, you walk me through the Hollywood plot of like where this would start in some lab in Wuhan, and they're like, yes, and in 6 months' time we'll have all the beaches shut down in California. Like, who does that? Like, where does this even come from? Like, it's the most crazy, batshit, insane stuff. It at least makes the 5G stuff look normal, because at least with 5G you can be like, oh, there's radiation. I get it. There's electromagnetic radiation. Could be a problem.
It's controlling you with its waves. Like,
but at least it's real. At least there's an actual. You can go outside and point to a 5G tower and go, I don't know what that is, but it scares me. It's stupid, but at least I understand it, because I get it. It's a big machine. It's sitting on your street corner. Maybe you are afraid of it. I don't know. But I mean, like, this whole like, well, no, this is all a plot. Like, explain to me how this plot would work. Like, how, a plot's like a heist to like rob a bank. Like, you go and you break into the bank after hours, you get in the vault, take the money. Like, okay, I get that. That's a heist. Explain to me this heist. Like, you walk me through their planning process on this. Like, what they stand to gain, how they thought they would get here. Because it seems like some crazy Saturday morning, like, cartoon villain plot where like all this crazy stuff happens, and at the end the villain laughs, goes, "Ha, this was my plan all along." Like, it's how is this your plan all along?
It's that Cobra Commander kind of plan, people get high on G.I. Joe.
Right. Well, at least with Cobra Commander, his shit didn't work. I mean, there were dumb plans, but at least you saw where he was going with it. And, his problem was more of like their, they just had a lot of bad processes. They had a lot of stuff that, it should have been kicked back in committee, and they should have just relooked at it.
I will destroy you.
Yeah. Man, they had a lot of quality control with their the management, and I don't know.
Hey guys. If we'll go ahead and finish up some of this video here, but I think we will be moving on to Twitch for the pandemic thing. One, we need more hours streamed to Twitch. Two, I think Facebook actually has a harder time processing my video than Twitch does because I have to have Facebook open in order to chat with everybody. And also have it open in order to stream. So I think that's part of the issue, and it's taking up some of my computer resources for this. So we'll continue on this for a bit longer, but we'll be moving on to Twitch probably in the next 20 minutes or so. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the Twitch link into the chat for y'all.
They're good now, or
what are good now?
Like volume wise.
Oh, I'm good now. You got louder for some. Oh, I turned you up. But yeah, we should be fine. So that's the link to Twitch, guys. So we're at twitch.tv/crowdsourced politics. We will be moving over there probably shortly here. We'll while we take Scott Adams apart a little bit more, have some more fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna head start playing the video back up. And
pay attention to
can
them.
you go ahead and drop the link to the pandemic video
right eventually
and Discord?
But they have no moral authority. So as I said on Twitter today, if a store opened in my town, and the guidelines say I can't use that store, but if they do, I'm going to go to that store. I'm going to buy something at that fucking store.
Is it a movie?
If I don't even need anything from that store. All right. If
it's
somebody wants to take a chance,
it's a video, but it keeps getting taken down.
Yeah, I know.
I think it would be foolhardy to open a small business because you could get your ass kicked by the legal system. But if you do, I'm on your side.
I'll find it on Gab or something.
Right? I'll wear my mask.
I'll find it.
I'll do curb pickup. I'll do whatever you need. Wash my hands. I'll do all that. But if you open up illegally, I'm your fucking customer. Okay? And I don't see any other path to the other side of this. So, who's lying? As far as I can tell, I don't know if it's lying or just people don't know. It's hard to say.
Getting a lot of removed.
Right.
We'll find it.
On another topic.
Here we go. Episode 1, part 2 of 3.
Topic. The fakest of fake news. And there's a lot of fake news, but I'm going to say the fakest of all the fake news, and I tweeted this earlier, is that every idiot pretending to not understand why Trump acts respectful to dictators when he knows he needs to negotiate with them for something important for this country. Can you fucking assholes stop?
Because he wishes he could be one.
Ooh.
That's why he respects them. He likes big, strong men.
He has a childish understanding of rights, so he understands the world the way a strong man would. So he respects them because they see eye to eye.
Yep.
What he sees, what's really unstable, is actually strength to him.
Hey, great point, Mateo. Appreciate it.
I love it.
All right, we're gonna hit play again.
Stop pretending you don't know why the president acts super friendly to dictators that he has to fucking negotiate with. Do I have to explain why that makes sense? Can you stop fucking acting like you don't understand it? What's the president doing? Why is he sucking up to a dictator before he does important trade talks? I don't understand. Why does he be nice to the biggest country in the world with a nuclear arsenal? I don't understand. I'm too fucking dumb. Stop it.
On a level, he does have a point.
Just stop being so
There is
fucking
there is
dumb.
game theory to all
That
this,
you
but I
act
doubt
like
that's
you
really
don't
what Trump's
know why
doing,
Trump
you
is
know?
being nice to the
Like this
dictator
guy
he has to negotiate with.
speaking for Trump when Trump's pride is more
Are you
childish
fucking kidding me?
than anything else.
Well,
He's
Trump
like,
does
like
this instinctively without really
Yeah.
planning it.
That's what I'm saying.
mean,
Yeah, like this is just Trump looking at them like, oh, this guy's a real fucking dude, you know? Where this guy is coming up with a rational way to deal with them, which is not what's going through Trump's head at all.
Oh, but that's why they loved him, is that he makes Trump look a lot smarter. And
Yeah,
Trump
exactly.
Trump may do a lot of this stuff based off of instinct, which is actually guiding him in the right direction. He just might not be able to articulate why. And Trump might have like a real like doofus explanation for it that's more or less
It's a
correct.
coincidence. Trump just happens to be doing it this one time by accident.
But I think that if you look at Trump, he likes to punch down and flex on people who are weaker than him, but he likes to suck up to people who are stronger than him. And I mean, that's probably in the grand scheme of things, if you're a hustler like Trump, it's probably a good strategy, even if he can't articulate it. I mean, Adams can articulate it. Trump probably doesn't really even know why he does it, other than it works.
No, for sure. I definitely agree with that. You kind of see it when when Trump said we will rain down fire and fury on them, where he's like all like this the entire time. He's like, he's trying to look all tough with his arms crossed, but he's kind of like hunched over too, so you can tell he's scared. Anyways, this is what you can expect from Crowdsourced Politics, everybody. Bullshit body analysis. No, but seriously, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, no, yeah. Body language is real, man. I do that all day long. This is reading people. It's 100% a thing.
I think I need to calm down a little bit.
I'm going to get another beer. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what's a lie and what's just not knowing. But
same for you?
Scott, are you really surprised?
Already seen the video?
No, I'm way beyond.
Oh, I got it up. Yeah.
I think I'm way beyond.
Oh, it's not showing up for me. Well, I'm on Discord, actually. Hold on.
All right, I'm just looking at your comments right now because that was sort of all I needed to say. Faker's gonna fake.
How many followers does this guy have? Like, how big is his reach?
I didn't have much else.
I follow him on Periscope because he just pops up and does that, and he has
I'll probably
some thousands there. As far as his full reach, let me have a look. I'll check him out on
anything
Twitter.
that they'd like to ask. It's funny that part of you like angry Scott Adams. You may have.
So he's about 440,000 on Twitter.
Third person, which I've explained before. If you haven't heard that, if you've ever wondered why famous people sometimes refer to themselves in third person,
I was hoping the number would be a lot smaller.
And it's not obvious at all until you become a famous person. And the reason is that you are an observer of your famous side just like everybody else. So when I talk about myself in the third person, I'm taking an observer view because that's actually how I see it too. You know, the real me, my inner thoughts and stuff, I'm the only one who knows that. That's sort of the real me. The public me is the part that's, you know, designed for external exposure, and it doesn't feel like me.
See, and that's a pretty good point too. It's like when you have a public brand, then you
keep from the public.
Personally understand that you are different than your brand. Like your brand is kind of a projection of yourself that you want people to see, that you might reference, but you're referencing the brand. You're not referencing like you yourself.
Please redo that.
Like when Trump talks about Trump, he's not talking about himself personally. He's talking about the Trump that the world understands.
Somebody asked me, and hey, Allie, thanks for the super art. Somebody asked me to give tips on calming down when you're angry, and they said they've seen me do it on Periscope, and it seems to be like a breathing thing. So let me explain what I do. What I do. In the old days, the old me, and I've reformed, but for most of my life, if I got really mad, I had one way to calm down, which was that I would break something that had some monetary value, just destroy it. Could be a printer that was, you know, I needed to replace anyway. I tried not to break things that I really cared about. I don't think I ever have. But there's always that item in your environment, the stapler that misfires every third staple, that sort of thing. You don't replace it, but every third staple it misfires. I hate this stapler. But then I'll get mad, and I'll see that stapler, and I'll say, goodbye, stapler. Your days, you had a good run. You annoyed me for years. But you happened to be in the general vicinity when I got mad. So I might take that stapler, take it out to my garage where I've got a nice concrete floor, and destroy it on the floor. Probably finish it off with a sledgehammer. And when I'm done, I feel great. Almost instantly. I feel great. But it turns out that other people didn't understand my medical process. People would see me destroying items, people in relationships, let's say, and they would be horrified. And they would think, my God, am I going to get hurt? Is something I care
You probably don't
about
want to do that in front of your
broken? Has he
significant other.
lost it?
That's probably.
Is he insane? And the funny thing is that on the inside, it was completely controlled. Because I would be aware that I was.
It does come across as
seething with
crazy.
anger. I would look at the stapler. I would judge
And I
that
think
it
recognizing
was
your own crazy is an
relatively
important
speaking,
aspect of any
then
good
I would like to
relationship.
replace
And
it
if you've got
anyway,
like
'cause it
that
messes
tendency
up
where you're
every
like,
third
you know, when I
staple.
get mad, I like to
And I
smash
know
stuff.
from experience that if I just go hog wild and destroy this,
That's not
thing,
great, but you
I'm
definitely don't
gonna
want to.
instantly feel better.
Say what?
So
There's
that's what's
something
happening
called,
in my head.
I
It's
think
all,
it's
it's all
Rage Room.
positive.
It's basically a
In a
huge
weird way,
business off
there's
that. Like
nothing
they'll set
negative
up a
in my head
nice
when it's
living room and
happening.
everything, like all sorts
If
of
you're
themes and
observing
everything,
it,
and you pay a fee and
it's
you go in there
pretty
and just
scary.
smash it up.
I've been told reliably.
So it is
it's
fair.
pretty scary.
There's something about smashing
So
shit that gets people,
I tried to
feeling
stop
good.
that
But
habit as effective as
at
it
the same
was.
time,
And so I needed to
makes you
replace
wonder.
it with some other mechanism.
You know, in a real
to take
limited
me
sense,
off
I think
the
it could be
ledge.
very cathartic and
And
all
I
that.
do find
but,
the breathing works
you know,
well.
you
It's
would
the
need to
Mel
really
Gibson trick.
understand that
Mel
is kind
Gibson,
of
the actor.
a limited thing where you
And
could just let
said
yourself
this
be
before in
crazy for a
Periscope.
sec
He
and get it
teaches
out
that
of your
if you want to
system.
get
But
into an
but I
acting
don't love
frame
it.
of mind, that you breathe the way a person would in that
But I guess it's good to
situation.
have outlets
And
that are
that brings
you
the
know,
rest of your body along. Because the way
safe,
you breathe
let's
is
say.
such a, I don't know, such a basic, central,
What?
connected to everything
I
you
miss
process
stuff.
in your
We have
body,
people in
that if you can
chat
just
talking about
adjust that
abusers.
one
What
thing,
happened?
the rest of your body and
Oh,
brain
he's
will
talking.
follow.
Scott's talking crazy
So that
about
works.
how he will get mad and break things. I mean, that's the
Ah,
short answer. Which and again, if you're that kind of person who like when you get mad, you just need to like smash something. At a very, very, very young age, it should dawn on you to never do that in front of somebody else. Because he mentioned like, yeah, you don't do that in front of your significant other. They'll think you're crazy. I'm like, yeah, and the fact that you would do that in front of a significant other, that actually is crazy. Like you
right.
should have the wherewithal to know that if you're like, like super, super mad and you just like you need to, break your stapler or your printer or whatever, that you are entering a crazy phase and you should just like say, you know what, I need a little me time. So I'm going to do this where nobody can see me and just kind of get it out of my system. And if it's a regular thing, you should probably get help. If it's like a
Yeah.
very rare thing, okay. But that's just have some awareness. Everybody's crazy.
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah.
fully believe that everyone on this planet is crazy. You just need to understand like if you're crazy is like the harmful crazy to others, or if it's just like your occasional flare up crazy that you just have to deal with, and then you're good.
Yep. No, totally agree. I can
Or
agree with that
you
stuff.
go smash things in your garage with a sledgehammer.
Yeah. Yeah, there's acceptable outlets to break things.
We were just saying that there are acceptable outlets, and there's different ways to express it. But again, I think that like when the thing that can just kind of creep me out there is when he said that something about how he did it in front of a significant other and they got scared and they didn't realize what he was doing and they didn't understand his processes. I'm like, yeah, the fact that didn't dawn on you is actually
that's pretty bad.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm totally missed that, everybody. Sorry for coming in this halfway through and like justifying some crazy shit Scott Adams might have said. My bad. But on the legitimate ways of doing it, somebody actually made a business out of it. You can go and spend some money. Like I think I want to say it's like $50 to take a sledgehammer wearing protective gear, face shield, and those like hazmat like white suit things or whatever. So
could you go into like let's say like a living room and do that?
I think it's set up in like kind of like a junkyard kind of style thing. Like it's not at a junkyard, but it's like in like a garage setting, and you just break shit for like 30 minutes.
I was just joking. Mateo just said that right before you came back.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so everybody, are we good with Scott Adams? Do we need more to listen to more for this?
I think we got through the meat of the good stuff. And
all right,
like part of me, this on one hand, I love it because like he got really mad at Trump and just said a lot of crazy stuff, and I fucking love it. Like it just really entertains the hell out of me. But a lot of times he's a lot more measured and actually has like interesting things to say, which are often borderline fashy, but just well reasoned and well thought out. And I love being able to get that perspective as far as like what they're thinking on that side. But this was great just because it was rage. He was just talking about how like nobody dies of the flu, it's all fake, and there are no tests, there's no COVID tests, it ain't gonna work, there's not gonna be a vaccine. Like I just the purity of it, I just loved it. Like I just loved the fact that he just let it all out. And
gotcha.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. So I did find Plandemic Part 1 and 2 of 3, so we're only going to get through 2 parts. It seems to be a pretty long video, so we might even get through 2 parts. Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, there's the part. It should just be part 1 for now. I don't know if they've released part 2.
So I have part 1 of 3 is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So I have part 1 and part 2 of part 1. So we are going to go ahead and go over to Twitch. We're going to stream this and make fun of it and talk about how crazy it is and everything. I saw that Ellen can't get Twitch to work. Might have been just that Twitch itself, we weren't streaming yet. There's been a couple of times where we've started a stream where we're still getting ready and had, a starting soon screen with us all muted. And that went on for like five minutes. So you might have been over there when that was happening, and it was just, we weren't streaming fully live yet. Does anybody here in the Discord need like 5 minutes or so, or are we all good to just go ahead and head on over?
I could use a few minutes.
Yeah,
okay.
I could use a minute or 3. Yeah.
Okay. So we will be live. We'll say in 5 minutes. 5 minutes good for you guys?
5 minutes is glorious.
All right, so we'll be live in about 5 minutes over on Twitch. I'll drop the link of the Twitch again in the chat, and thank everybody for joining. Please be sure to actually, even if you can't watch us through the whole thing, please go ahead and be sure to be on the Twitch with it at least in the background, or fully on your screen, or whatever. You don't have to pay attention to it, but it does help our numbers, and it does make sure that we keep our average of 3 viewers per video up so that we can get to affiliate status.
Oh yeah, we're gaming the system and we need your help.
Yeah, we're totally gaming the system. We're doing it on a very minor level. People pay like, I don't know, Filipinos, Taiwanese people, or Thai people to sit on their streams and give them numbers. Like it's ridiculous out there, guys. Everybody, it's all fake. All the numbers you see on every fucking video is fake for the most part. It's people paying bots to juice up the numbers, and then they actually get real people to watch them. So we're trying to avoid that by having you all join us, and we do this for you because you're our family. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut down this stream now. We'll be live in about 5 minutes on Twitch. I'll drop the Twitch channel in there again. I still have it copied. Oh. Give me 1 second. Pull it back up. All right. There is the Twitch link, and we'll see you in 5 minutes.